mean, everywhere in the country, but if someone could obtain that and have it at fingertip reference rather than going through a community forum like we're going through, we may be able to answer some questions more specifically and quickly.
Yeah, I think we can definitely, I mean, we can provide whatever information is most helpful. I think one thing the federal regulations are the highest level. I want to make sure that we might also want to be talking a little bit about not just, so there's those, then there's how does Nevada as a state do it, and then within Nevada, how are we doing it? And those are all relatively consistent, but again, every district has a little bit different stuff to deal with. So I want to make sure if we're providing some information, we don't want to just provide you these federal regulations that are really general, because there is more specific guidance. So why don't I'll talk with our folks here and see if we can kind of get a list of from that level all the way down to where we are now, what our process is and how we do it and that sort of thing.
Fine, thank you very much.
Mike Allen, I have a question for you, or not a question, but a comment. Could you talk a little bit more about Group A, the area that most would affect this region? What area it actually encompasses, proximity to Mesquite, etc. Most of the people here, I don't believe, have a copy of a map. So.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you could put a copy up, if you have one.
Yeah, let me just see if we can do that. Hang on just a second.
We'd be looking at map 3.1.
Oil and gas parcel. It might take a minute here. Is this coming up okay on the screen for you guys?
Looks that way at this point. Yeah, it's up correctly.
Okay. And that's probably, I don't know, is that getting a little closer to what you're looking for?
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, let me see if we get one more. How's that?
Looks good. So the section that would most pertain to us would be the lower portion of Group A, correct?
And that's that block on the bottom, and that's the where it's supposed to be.
Correct. Could you talk a little bit about its proximity to the city here, because it doesn't show?
Yeah, I think when we look at. Okay. Yeah, so basically we have the closest bottom right-hand corner of that southeast corner is approximately 6 to 7 miles due west and maybe a little bit northwest of Mesquite.
And how much of that sits on or adjacent to our aquifer or well Basin 222?
That I don't know off the top of my head. I don't remember.
They don't need to understand what a basin is.
I think somebody had made a comment previously about that. And I thought they had mentioned that they looked at it, the whole thing was over that.
Is that correct, Mr. Brown? I have Kevin Brown here from Virgin Valley Water District.
Kevin Brown from the Virgin Valley Water District. Almost all of the that Group A parcel that the pointer arrow is on lies on top of the Basin 222. And for reference, about halfway in between the southern boundary of Group A parcel there and the city boundaries, we have two wells that provide roughly about 30% of Mesquite's water. And we also have proposed in the near future, 5 to 10 years, of developing another well that's even closer to that southern boundary of the Group A parcel. So the Virgin Valley Water District has some extreme concerns about the Group A parcels, and we've already developed our draft comments, and we'll be sharing those at our board meeting next Tuesday.
Thank you.
That sounds almost, that sounds an awful lot like a really good comment.
Councilman Rapson, you have a question or comment?
Yeah, I get the concern of Group A being on top of the Basin 222, and that's certainly a concern, but I think we've all acknowledged that water runs downhill. And even the groups B, C, D, and E are north and uphill of Group A. So any damage to the water from the north is going to seep eventually into Parcel A. And I'm not a hydrologist, so this is theory. I'm asking if that's a valid concern or not, and that might be from somebody from the water district, or it might be from you guys, but is that a fair concern?
Yeah, I'm not even going to pretend to be a hydrologist. I can definitely go along with the water goes downhill.
Okay, we do have a hydrologist here also that may have a comment for us, hopefully. Thank you.
Sure. This is Aaron Montreal from Virgin Valley Water District. I'll take a stab at responding to that, those upper parcels as well. There's been studies done, and specifically where the carbon aquifer has upswell from where that comes from, it's not known. So may there be a connection? Possibly. I know other watersheds like the Meta Valley Wash, that has an upper connection with what they call White River. And that, I don't know if that's a direct connection up there or not, but it is possible.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Aaron.
Can we try this?
I'm definitely hearing a lot of comments, and it sounds like we're going to expect to receive quite a few comment letters that are talking about we may not want to be leasing areas in parcel Group A because there's questions about the potential effects on the aquifer and the potential for water quality and quantity to be affected by, if they build a development. So I guess it sounds like we're going to be receiving quite a few comments about that. Is that?
I think that's a pretty true statement, yes. Ms. Elstead, you have a comment or?
Yes. Elise McAllister just handed me this diagram and map that I think shows exactly the proximity to Mesquite. So I'm hoping the audience gets a better idea of from this map. So this area right here is in Group A, and on the map that the BLM was showing us, this is the lower blacked out area, if you will. This is the upper blacked out area. This is Flat Top Mesa, for those in the back that can't see this very well. No, you can use that, Mayor. You point to it. So this is Flat Top Mesa right here, And then this is the interstate as it runs through Mesquite into Arizona. And then this is, right here, is the Lincoln County line. And then this is, obviously, then all of Mesquite through here. So I don't know what scale this map is, but I think this gives the public a little bit better idea of how close this lower southern parcel in Group A is that is on the map for potential oil and gas leasing. So I hope that helps the public a little bit more. Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Sweeten. Oh, pardon me, I'm so used to that. Move over.
I'm not an attorney, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn.
Yes, I knew it.
First of all, Leah, I appreciate all the comments that have been made. I think they're spot on. I think one thing that, Chris, you pointed out, it doesn't matter how good the comments are or how on point they are. If they're not in writing, they don't matter. Is that correct?
That is correct. Comments for this do need to be in writing.
Okay. So I think no matter what we say tonight, we better get something in writing tomorrow, right? And I appreciate Barbara's comments. I thought they were spot on. She also brought up the Lisa McAllister. I think it's a good idea that we thank her for bringing this to our attention. I know the water district was not aware of this. At least we appreciate you and bringing us forward. Thanks very much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, ma'am, go ahead.
My name is Linda Taylor, and I live in Mesquite, Nevada. I've been on the internet the last few days, and my first concern was the toxicity of the water here in Mesquite. I mean, maybe it happening. But another major concern of mine that you'll find all over the internet is earthquakes from fracking. And two studies done in 2014 indicate that in Ohio, where they've got lots of fracking going on, their earthquakes have increased 50% in 1 year. It was a very mild area for earthquakes prior to this. Oklahoma's got the same problem. There's 8 states back in the central area that they're looking at because of fracking and earthquakes. And one of my big concerns is we do have a dam downstream from us. Anyway, if there's a question there, did you folks with the EA look at earthquakes from fracking? I know you're saying it wasn't an issue, but or is that to come if we write our letters? Thank you.
I think it would be definitely to come if that does sound like another great comment to make. And I would submit that and ask the BLM, hey, did you consider, and because you'd actually mentioned a couple of studies that you saw, and anytime you can say, hey, I'm making my comment, and by the way, these are the studies I was looking at, make sure that we're considering those things. Sometimes we don't know about things. Most of the time we do try it, but there's stuff we don't know, and so if that's what you got, at least put it in. And then it's also something that would be addressed when that next stage down the road is was leased, and if there was development for a well proposed out there, and if that well proposed fracking, we'd be looking at the direct and the indirect impacts from that, and that's really where we want to be looking at what the science say about that, especially given the geology of the location, that sort of stuff. So it would be both as a comment, and then if we did get into a situation where there was a proposed development out there, that's another opportunity to bring that up too.
Thank you. We have other comments? Yes, we do. Okay.
Chris, Chris, I'm Burton Weist with Mesquite Local News, and in reading the report in section 2.3.1, recommended deferrals, it reads parcels that the Ely district does not believe should be leased at this time are listed below with the rationale in that section. And it says Group B, all parcels in their entirety, Group C, all parcels in their entirety, and Group D, 2 parcels. It doesn't mention Group A. So does that mean that it is the recommendation in this report that all of Group A be included for lease, but none of Group B, Group C, and the 2 parcels removed from Group D? Am I reading that properly, or is that wrong? And I also just, I guess, question, your recommendations are already in the report, and is that correct?
So what in the report, we've also had, so last year when we had our oil and gas lease sale process, we had some concerns raised by the Fish and Wildlife Service and about whether we had adequately considered the potential effects on species using those basins from potential future development. And so the decision was made at that point to defer those parcels. And so this is kind of a repeat of that process. We never received any kind of input to defer the parcels in parcel A. And so those, so now is that opportunity that if there is reason to consider deferral of parcel A for not leasing, that's kind of why we're going out with this comment period. We know we've already heard about parcels